There's a thing called on the road to success. Right? On the road to success, you meet a giant. But the giant could stop you not reaching your success. That's how I feel my son. God bless you. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Well, last week we talked about your other book, I Come to Prophesy.
Right.
And you told us so much revelation about that book and how you came up with that book. Mm-hmm. And I see that you also wrote another book called Giants Do Fall.
Yes.
Well, we all know we have so much giants in our life.
True.
So this book is just a way of just letting us know that how to able to tackle our giants.
Come on.
So I want to ask you, why did you think about writing this book?
You know, this book was already put in place, like most of my books. They are written years back. And just in the season and time, God wanted them to be published. I just go back and tweak a little, two, three things, put them in place. One of the reasons why this book was created, because I was wrestling with some personal giants, both from my father's side of the family, my mother's side of the family, and my personal life was on some serious warfare. And I looked at it and I said, well, I got to confront my giant. I got to face my giant. I can't run away from my giant. You know, the moment I come to understand that this is a giant that's been in my family for long, and I got to find a way now to defeat this giant. And I find a way to defeat this giant, and I overcome by the blood of the Lamb, to overcome this giant, to override whatever power, whatever stronghold they may have over my life. You know, because giants can control you a little bit. Determine the giant that you want to bring down. They're controlling you without you not knowing. So I begin to find myself to write this book, Giants Do Fall, because I begin to understand now I have a recipe to how to bring down these giants in my personal life, and then also teach other people how to bring down their giant based on what God has shown me, revelational word. And so I begin to put the book together, and this year, 2020, God said, hey, you have brought down the giants that are suppressing your family. But you also have members in your church that also needs to bring down their giants. And that's why the title is Giants Do Fall. Because when others come to the light of understanding like their giants do fall, because they need somebody who have done it. First of all, we see that in the Bible, David, the wonderful storytelling that we told our children and we read about constantly. In the Bible, there are revelational words that give us access to bringing our giants down. And I talk about certain access, certain words that you get to say to bring your giant down. You don't have to wrestle with your giant for 10 years, 7 years. You may have gone through that. But when you meet your giant, when you recognize your giant, to bring your giant down, you need some words. And it's not your daily words. It is the word of the Lord, but that there's a specific word that I'm not going to give out, because I want you to go check out the book based on what is in there that will set you free. So it was written because, one, there are giants in my personal life that is come down, and they have come down, and there are giants also in the church, in the body of Christ, that there are people who need to believe and work on bringing down their giants. And there are just diverse prayer points that could help you bring out these giants, snuffing your light, bringing you out of your blessing, there's a thing called on the road to success. Right? On the road to success, you meet a giant, but the giant could stop you not reaching your success. And there are many people who their giants stop them from not reaching their success. It was they're old, they couldn't do anything anymore, because the giants have done what The Bible said that will come to steal, kill, or destroy. So I feel like this is a season where God said, tell your people why giants do fall, and teach them how to overcome their personal giants and get victory at the end.
Wow. There's so much to learn. Every single time I sit here with you, it's like I learn something new.
Amen. Thank the Lord for that.
Well, I also want to ask you, so who was your inspiration and motivation to write this book?
There was a man by the name of Michael. I call him Prophet Michael. And we have had a lot of time in prayer. He is a father figure, a mentor. And he began to talk to me about his personal giant as well, and how he overcome his giants. And I've told him countless times about my personal giants as well that I was dealing with, and how to bring down those giants. And we will pray for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours sometimes, discuss about how to override these giants. And he just one day said to me, your giant is going to fall this year, and you need to be prepared and ready. And I said, hey, let's go. And I remember that year was in 2010. And I believed it. 2012, 13, 14, I began to see giants falling. 15, 16, we're here now. Many giants have fallen, and many giants will continue to fall. Yeah. So he is one of the people that inspired me. My mother inspired me, because she also had a giant. My father inspired me as well, and my beautiful wife, she also inspired me because she wrote a children's book, about giants as well. So I looked at it and said, well, it can't be coincident that God is telling two people at the same time to write two different books. But if you look at it right, it's like little giant, big giant, giant for children, and then giant for mature people. She wrote a book on giants based on how to knock down personal giants and stubbornness for children, and giving them children a belief system that they can begin to work on the giants while they're young, so that when they get to the level where they get to get their breakthrough, they don't have to live that long and be old and not hit the giants. It's almost like a foreshadowment what God told Abraham in a mountain. Go and take his son, right, to kill your son. And then in the future, in the vision, in the future coming, God actually did that with his son, right, on the cross. So in that revelation, it's like God placed the revelation for my wife to write that for the small children. And then, months later, God said, now you can publish that book, Giants Do Fall.